and begin. Welcome, one and all. This is the socially distant edition of the Columbus E13 podcast. We're all so excited to be back. With me, not as usual, is Marc. As you can see, he is over at his place. I'm not totally by myself, though. I do have Flat Jerry here to keep me company.
Is he masked too?
Say again?
Is he masked too? Looks like
he is masked. He's sitting awfully close to me, so I wanted to make sure that we were being safe.
Indeed.
We got a lot to talk about, and I got a whole bunch of people to add in here. So first thing we're going to do is get our buddy Chris in here. Chris.
Hello.
Hey.
Now I can hear you, buddy. I just hadn't added you to the stream yet. So Chris, where are you at?
Marysville, Ohio. My university was shut down for quarantine, obviously, so I've moved back to Marysville from Erie back in March. So,
gotcha. Okay, cool. And he's not going to be on for the entire show, but we have our guy from Pub Mahone, Mr. Josh Palka. How you doing, Josh?
Good. How you guys doing?
So Josh apparently hurt himself. He sent me a text. Did you pull your something? What'd you pull?
So unfortunately, I stepped in a hole on the beach, and it's the knee that I tore my ACL on last year. So we're hoping I just twisted it and didn't re-damage any actual ligaments in there. We'll find out next week, though.
Shnikes, dude. I hope you feel better. Well, I wanted to make sure and have Josh on because we are going to be watching the game at Pub Mahone on Saturday. I don't know how many people are going to be there, but I'm going to be there, and we're going to put it on the big screen and hopefully get a couple people over there. So I wanted Josh to just kind of speak to, what we're going to be doing safety wise, just to give people an idea.
And guys, everybody should feel very comfortable coming to the pub. It is, we've done so much. We've had 6 different inspections from the health department. We've passed every single one, flying colors. They've been to every place a lot because they want to make sure that we're keeping up with things we're supposed to do. We're all wearing masks when we're there. Everybody's wearing gloves that needs to be wearing gloves. We have entrance coming in. So the patio doors, you can come in, but you can only go out the other doors. So we're doing the one-way system where, you're not going back and forth with people coming in contact with them. So we're doing everything we can on our end to keep you guys safe. A lot of it's up to you guys though, right? So when the customers are in drinking, our big thing is 6 feet, right? We can show you what 6 feet is, but I can't keep you from, getting too close to somebody.
Right.
When in there, it's up to you guys a little bit to make sure that you're social distancing. We'll remind you if you start to get too close, but we've put everything in place for you guys to be safe when you come in and watch the games.
We like that. That's great work.
Yeah,
great work, Josh. Thank you so much. I know you're on vacay. I had to kind of beg you to come on because I don't want your woman mad at me. So I'm gonna let you roll. But I wanted to thank you for coming on. Kind of try to set some people's minds at ease. I have no idea if anybody even knew for sure that we were going to be showing the game. That announcement is coming right now. The event invites will go out tonight and everything like that. Do you know whether or not they had people over at the pub today for the 2 games that were on today?
We did not. We didn't have anybody on today. We had a decent crowd, but nobody for the game. So
okay. Are you going to be there on Saturday?
I won't be. I'll be doing my 13-hour drive back home, hopefully on a good knee at that point. But
gotcha.
I'll be back by Sunday, and we'll be ready to go for next week. I'll be with you guys.
All right, man. All right, Josh. Thanks so much. I'm going to let you fly. Give your family my best.
I will. Thank you, Kev. You guys have a good
one. See ya.
See ya.
Josh Palka, everybody. Yeah. Woo, That
was the first commercial in the history of the podcast.
That might have been a commercial. All right. And I just want to keep on rolling. I mean, everybody in here knows who we're having on, but joining us once again from the UK and the West Ham United experience, Mr. Thomas Smalley.
Hey guys, how we doing?
Hey.
Hello.
Hey, buddy.
You good?
So, Tom, thank you so much for staying up late again.
No
I'm
worries,
the guy that always bugs you from over here.
I'm off work for the next few days, so no worries for me tonight at all.
Okay, cool. Oh, off work.
I can stay up as late as I want.
I hope that's for an
girlfriend
okay
said
reason.
so.
You actually have the days off, right?
Yeah,
you didn't
man.
get like laid off or anything?
No, I just have a couple of days off.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. Well, I did something in this podcast that I've never done. I've added a level of professionalism unseen before on the CMH-E13 podcast, and I actually sent everybody the topics ahead of time. So we had some rousing discussion. Let's get the small applause back for Cat. Trying his best to keep it
Doing your
together.
damn best.
Well done, Kev.
Okay, so I'll tell you what, because it is late, and I do appreciate you staying up with us. I was wondering, I watched both games that were on earlier today. I watched them with what NBC Sports calls natural sound. We had the option here when you were watching it. I didn't watch it on like a regular cable or DirecTV or anything. I was watching it on my NBC Sports app, and you had a choice of either watching it with natural sound, which is supposedly exactly what you're hearing in whatever stadium, or enhanced sound, which is, I think they're adding some kind of like sound effects production value to it. I didn't listen to that. I thought that would be really, really like hokey. But one of the big reasons that I wanted to have you on it, well, first of all, did you watch either of those games today?
I watched the second half of Arsenal Man City.
Okay.
So here it's very similar. You have the option to watch it with or without the fake crowd sounds.
Okay.
I, having watched a fair few of the German games without sound and a fair few with sound, it's definitely better with the sound. I just can't, the eeriness of like watching it with no sound, I just can't deal with at all. I think watching like
one with and one without.
I think it was Dortmund Schalke, the first German game back, and like it was just dead silence. You could hear like the players shouting everything, and like you might as well have been going over the field to watch a game of football. Like it was so bizarre.
Wow.
I'm definitely a fan of the. I think, and like, don't quote me on this, but I think they're pumping the sound in from FIFA, the game, so they're using the game sound effects. But it definitely works for that City Arsenal game. Like when City had the penalty, there was like a quiet before, and then the celebrations after. It was good.
Huh.
It's just very weird having the sounds and seeing all the empty seats.
Yeah. Well, at least at City, they had like the seats covered up with like all tarps and stuff. There was a weird tarp that said "We're not really here." Did you guys see that?
Yeah, it's like the shirt covering.
Yeah, that was odd.
I saw something similar at Villa Park in the early match, just covering those stands and then the flags covered over. But I didn't get a chance to watch either today.
Yeah,
cool. Chris, did you get to watch either one?
I only unfortunately got to watch a few minutes. I was kind of in and out all day, but I did watch a little bit of the Villa Sheffield United match, and I couldn't get my head around it. I didn't see an option for the like pumped in noise, so I was just watching it without the sound, and it was just kind of different. That's the only way I can describe it.
Did you guys see that botched goal at the end of the first half?
I heard about it. I didn't get to see it live.
It's so bad. So it's like the one thing that you don't think they can get wrong anymore. Like with no line back.
Well, I guess since the game, there's been an apology given by the system, the goal decision system. If the ball crosses the line, something automatically happens, and I guess like some kind of vibrator goes off on the official's watch, and he was like pointing at his watch like no goal.
Yeah.
And then like even though VAR is supposedly allowed to intervene, if nothing goes off on the buzzer, they don't. So it's like they've apologized and like, I guess apologized to Sheffield if they don't go as high as they could.
You know, leave it to the Premier League, though. The very first match back after 2 months, and there's already controversy.
Worst mistake I've ever seen.
Yeah. I mean, it's par for the course.
Well, okay.
And technical issues that
I've ever seen in a non-West Ham game.
Yeah, I was going to say technical issues that are for sure going to be all sorted out by the time we play Wolves on Saturday.
Sure. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Tom, what do you think about the fencing around London Stadium? Have you been over there to see it in person?
I haven't been over there to see it in person. I haven't really. I mean, for the past 12 weeks, I've either been at home or at work. Have done very little other than that. My partner has a lung condition, so we have been sort of very seriously shielding and not doing much. So as much as the temptation to go down there to just see what it's like and walk around it has been there, I haven't. I've seen some pictures. I mean, the one thing I don't get is I believe it's the only stadium in the country that has done this, like has put this whole barrier, around the stadium. It's like, do they really think that like thousands of us are that desperate to go and stand in an empty stadium? It
does seem a little silly.
I mean, once you get there, you've then got to get through the turnstiles. Right. It's just all. It seems very odd to me. Very odd.
And I guess the big argument, even for the fact that they were going to do some games on neutral grounds, because when they were all talking about that, was the fact that okay, so if like Liverpool ends up winning the league this weekend, which I guess they could win it on Sunday, depending on other results.
I don't think they can now. Yeah, I think because City won tonight.
Oh, okay. So like whenever it happens, which it is going to happen, they didn't want their fans like, like wolves at the gates. You know what I mean? And so I bet you Liverpool probably has up some kind of fencing. I don't know. Maybe they don't.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I can only assume they've put it there in case it got to a point where we were playing to stay up, in which case I can imagine there being quite some crowd congregating.
Sure.
Baying wolves. But I don't know. Yeah, it's very, very strange to have done it. I'm sure it's an absolute eyesore because the area is like so nice when it's quiet as well around there. Like just to go and walk around Stratford like went on a non-match day. So to have this like huge fence is very odd. It's very Donald Trump.
Weird. Yeah. What do people think about playing the games from behind closed doors? I mean, it's easy enough for like us to sit around and be like, okay, well, we'd be at the pub watching it on television anyway. You know what I mean? So it's not as upsetting for us, but
personally, obviously it's not the same. It is kind of gutting, especially with like, I think we still had 5 home games left and in such like they would be really important fixtures. Right. It's definitely going to feel like weird watching it from afar. Especially like at the minute here, I don't know how aware you are of like guidelines and stuff, but like we're only allowed to meet up in like groups of 6 people in people's gardens. So you can't even like gather with like groups of friends to watch the games together. Well, not.
Is that even in pubs or in your house and everything?
So pubs aren't even open. Pubs don't open till like July 4th at the earliest.
More patriotic.
And you're not meant to have like other households into your house. So you're allowed into people's gardens, but not into houses.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So like our plan on Saturday, I think we're going to one of our mates for a barbecue and then watch the game there. But it's strange. It's going to be strange. But on the flip side, I would rather be having like being able to watch it and have football and have nothing at all.
Right.
Yeah. For sure.
Like if the option was like null and void and have no football till like next year or watching from behind closed doors, then I choose closed doors every day of the week.
Sure. How are they doing things with citizens in public? Like, are they requiring, like, if you have to go outside, are you required to wear a mask, for instance?
No. So on public transport, you're required to wear a mask, and then the guidance. So it's not enforced is that you wear a mask when in shops.
Okay.
But yeah, like I don't have to wear a mask at work or anything or around the office. So.
Do you work in close proximity with other people?
No, so I work for a department of the government, and we sent like anyone with a health condition got sent to work from home from like day one. So we're like my office is at like barely even at 40% capacity.
Right.
So yeah, I'm like 5 meters, well, maybe like 4 meters from like the nearest person. Like a couple of desks empty either side of me. So
I know everybody's from different. I know Marc's been working at home. My wife Heather's been working basically on the other side of this table for the pet, ever since the lockdown. Chris, I don't know what you've been doing. Have you been working at home? What have you been doing?
So I had a job through my school. So I was, they told me that I was going to be working from home. My job was primarily proctoring exams. So I literally did nothing and got paid for it the entire time.
Wow.
And then I was just going to school online. It was basically you'd get up, I'd roll out of my bed, which is just right here, crawl into this chair, turn off my camera, turn off my microphone, and just watch TV as the class went on.
You were logged in for work and did nothing.
No, that was for class. I mean, I did, and then we had a few presentations that we had to do over Microsoft Teams, but other than that, I mean, it was basically a breeze. I mean, these last few months have gone by so fast. Yes. And then since then, I actually just got a job today, funny enough, because I was supposed to have an internship with the state, but that got canceled. I work at the zoo, and they're just now opening, and I haven't been recalled yet. So been trying to find a job. So I got one at the Tuttle Mall today. So.
All right.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm glad to know my mates are all safe.
Yep,
you know what I mean? Tom, I know you're having a great time because I've been watching your social media, and you and your lady are throwing the best backyard parties I've ever seen.
We've had some fun.
It looked like it. So, all right. So let's actually talk about West Ham United, other than just fan stuff. But Chris is so excited.
Yes, it's been so boring for me, especially with no baseball, no NBA, no NHL.
Yeah, Marc loves baseball too. I know he's super bumming.
Yeah, what I found though for me personally is I'm not missing it as much as I thought I would.
Yeah. I mean, that labor dispute is doing nothing to help the game, but glad to have some soccer back soon.
There was a labor dispute for baseball.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
We can even though I knew that it's very complicated, and both sides are just terrible at their jobs right now.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, okay. Really killing the goodwill of the game. But we're here, and we're watching something that's actually going to come on this weekend.
Right.
Hallelujah.
So that's pretty cool. So what do we think is going to happen with Wolves this weekend? I mean, it's so hard to make a real prediction. Pretty much everybody's back up to health. Although I was watching players in the early 2 games drop like flies, like guys just going down. And could it be argued that they're not fit, that they haven't had enough training? What do you guys think?
I mean, I didn't get to watch either of these games today. I've watched a couple of the Bundesliga matches since they came back, and agree with what all you guys were saying a few minutes ago, where it's just really disorienting as a viewer for one thing. But what I really noticed was just how out of form everybody is, and it's Kevin, you got really used to saying we're not experts when you start talking about the football side, but for once we're really on equal footing with everybody, where it's we literally have no idea who's going to be showing up to play, who's not capable. No. Right. It's useless to really make informed. You can't make an informed prediction right now.
Well, let me ask you something real quick, or everyone. I the teams that played today. Did they do any sort of friendlies like West Ham have done with QPR and Crystal Palace? I didn't hear anything like that.
I know Arsenal definitely did.
Okay.
I actually don't know. The only ones I knew about were the West Ham games. That's it.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, if that is the case, if West Ham was one of the only teams, obviously we had a friendly against Crystal Palace, but that kind of puts us, if say we were the only ones who did it, that kind of puts us on a little bit of advantage because we've already had a little bit of that experience. And it seems like, as far as I know, no one got hurt, which is a miracle in itself.
Right.
But so
and Jack Wilshere played.
Yeah, again, miracle. Miracle.
I mean, I feel like, friendlies were very informal. I remember Man U was going to have a friendly against, I think it was some squad in the championship, but somebody on not on Man U,
right.
whoever the other team was, tested positive for
right.
COVID, so it was forced into cancellation.
Yeah, and like a week and a half ago, I heard about that.
Yeah, I just remember we exchanged texts about it. It's like, really building the excitement for that, I guess. But I feel like everything's just been very informal, and I feel like I was noticing those photos of Mark Noble in cut-off joggers as much as anything. So, who knows what came out of training.
Cut off joggers, I guess.
So I was just doing a little research. Apparently, Man United have done a friendly against West Brom. Tottenham had a friendly against Norwich, which I had.
Yeah, I would probably assume that everybody tried to play like
Liverpool didn't. Liverpool had no friendly. They didn't. They were not worried at all.
Norwich one was quite interesting because the day after Norwich beat Tottenham, a Norwich player who played tested positive for COVID. But like the way that we're doing the test and trace here, it was only that one player who's had to go into isolation.
How does the test and trace thing work over there?
So saying it's people you've been in contact with within 2 meters of for 15 minutes or more consistently. Okay. So obviously on a football pitch, that just doesn't happen. So they were quite happy to say to Tottenham and Norwich players, unless you develop symptoms, you should be fine. Yeah.
How are they keeping track of that? Do they have is it mandatory that you have to
so
enter your information?
If I went and took a test and tested positive, they have a team, so someone would call me and gather as much information as possible of all the people I've been in contact with 2 meters for 15 minutes or more.
Huh. Okay.
And then they contact all those people to get them to.
I mean, they were talking about all kinds of different things with contact tracing here. There was going to be apps you could put the stuff in.
Yeah, there was actually there was a note in an Apple update that they provided for coronavirus tracking,
right?
Which I was a little sketchy on with that. But
of course, at this point, I don't have any confidence that people are going to be entering that stuff anyway. I mean, we can't get people.
No, it would just
masks.
I think it was supposed to be it would take your GPS location, and if someone within your area reported,
and people would be screwing privacy issues at that point.
Yeah, we were meant to have a similar thing. You could just see. I could just imagine people just saying they've tested positive and to scare other people in an area, because people are dicks.
Yeah, people are dicks. I mean, a lot of people are dicks. I mean, Thomas, I don't know how much of the news that you guys have been getting from some of the things going on over here, but the New York Times put out an article, a couple of graphs that came out day before yesterday, that basically showed some of the hardest hit areas in the world, where, it started off at April and then would go way peaking, at the absolute worst of, I think it was measuring deaths per day or new cases per day. So it showed, Italy and the UK and a couple of other places in Western Europe that were the hardest hit.
Yeah.
And then it showed the States. Now the States didn't quite get to 2,000 deaths a day, but then they've come to a plateau where we're basically I guess we're just okay with 800 deaths a day, which is where we're supposedly at. Everybody's I mean, over here, it's weird. You guys don't have pubs open. Well, we're going to the pub this weekend. Yeah. You know what I mean? I probably might wear a plastic bag on my head. You know what I mean? I'm 54 years old. I'm diabetic. I am high risk, and I'm going to be stay over there. You know what I mean?
Bubble boy outfit.
Trust me, if I could go to a pub, I would be there in an instant.
Oh, sure. I mean, we all would, but I mean, we got so many crybabies here, and then plus, the people in charge here are just creating an air of confidence that shouldn't exist.
Yeah,
There,
just,
was that a nice enough way to say it, Mark?
Everybody's done poorly.
Yeah, no. It's a miracle we're all still alive some days, in my opinion. Sorry, go ahead.
I haven't had the luxury of working at home. You know, I run a print shop, which is considered an essential service. So even from day one of the lockdown, even though our orders went right in the toilet, my partner and I had to keep working. He went home and worked at home processing orders, and I was in the studio because it's only 6 blocks from here. And I've been working. I worked there by myself for 2 months, and then now he's back over there. And you know, we don't wear masks around each other, but we have people come and they want to see our paper samples, and we're like, through our glass doors, we're like, "What do you want?" You know what I mean? And are you picking up an order? And back up. I'll put it on the bench. And I'm not kidding, man. I mean, people just don't get it. Nobody like wears masks. I have a whole rack of masks. You know what I mean? I wear two masks sometimes. I don't know. I'm not trying to make it into a political. Say again.
Do they work like condoms if you double bag it? Like you're extra protected?
Supposedly. Have you seen the health worker? And then they got the face shield. And then they got the astronaut helmet on.
Weren't you wearing a stormtrooper helmet one day?
I was.
Yeah.
I wore it to work. No, I didn't wear it to work. I did. I put it on Facebook that was my mask for the day, but that was on May 4th because it was Star Wars Day, bro. The next day, I wore my TIE Fighter pilot helmet because I'm that nerdy. All right. So let's go a little further. Wolves. What do we know about? I mean, other than the fact that we were getting ready to play them, and then they had to go play that empty. Well, they may have an advantage on us because they've already played at least one game in an empty stadium. Didn't they play somebody? They had,
like 3 months ago, you mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean. You know, even though it's going to be at London Stadium. So I understand that they're not going to have ball boys at the game. So our friend Eric, who we were dying to have on today, Eric's awesome. He said this may work to our advantage, that maybe we could have a what did he say, Mark? That we could have a strategy to just kick the ball.
If we just kick it out and then we have this delay
play for
starting to play.
Play for a 0-0 draw from the very jump.
Well,
I think
I just looked it up. Unlike us, Wolves actually did not have any friendlies, so they're coming just off the get go. So we might be a little bit more advantaged in this. If there was ever a time where I was more confident about beating a team like Wolves, it'd be right now, with having had those two friendlies where we are kind of up to fitness now, and Wolves not.
Wow, Chris out of the gate with the predictions.
I
can't wait to
they've had our number ever since they came back to the league. So it's not cause for optimism.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we have a head start in the sense of we've had the time, we've had the time to get the communication down. We've had the ability to get our legs about us again. So, like I said, I don't know if we will or not. The betting odds are still saying that Wolves will. But if there ever was a time that we could pull the upset, it's right now, simply because we are in better position because we've already played 2 games.
Yeah, I agree with Chris. Like, if we were gonna play Wolves now or 3 months ago, I'd rather be playing them now.
Sure.
I think it's an absolute free hit to have a go at them as well, especially with Tottenham and Chelsea like so close afterwards.
Right.
I think like we need to look at that game, and we ideally, especially after Villa got a point today, we really need to be taking a point.
Yeah, we got to get the point.
At least. But yeah, I completely agree with Chris. I think that they really could go in our favour. Like them having a long stretch. I don't play too much, so I don't think the friendlies mean too much, because by all accounts they were played at like walking pace. But we've got to go and give it a go. We've got to.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say like who's going to be in form or who's not. I mean, Kev, like just us texting back and forth, you mentioned like there's questions about Ogbonna's fitness.
I forgot he picked up a knock, yeah.
Mark Noble I think he was only sitting on the sidelines against Palace. Yeah. And it's just like it's all like whatever you happen to hear from X or somebody in the know, something like that. I mean, I think on the one hand, I'm encouraged and yeah, because we were seeing some positive developments. If I can think back that far to like the end of February, early March, of like, Bowen starting to emerge, a newer formation of Antonio and Hilaire up front.
Yep.
And you have some of these new, like basically free transfers coming in. Like I'm hearing like Zondi Silva could be on the match day squad. And if we're going to have five subs, I mean, we're still on that same squad depth that we were back in February, which is, not a positive in my mind, but, there's some room to maneuver on that. So, I am excited in that sense to see, like, have this wait and see of, can they line up differently? Can you just have this, new energy out of it? On the other hand, I feel like any other headline of West Ham that I see now is, I'm going to say his name wrong, Jeremy Ngakia. And are we just going to, like, let this dude walk?
I don't really think we have much of a choice, do we? I mean, he's turned down every offer.
I mean, they've made another offer today. But, this also amidst interest from Watford. And, it's between that and then I was just checking the news before coming on here, and there's rumors that we would let Grady Diangana stay with West Brom permanently. And, to hear these
I
two...
saw we slapped a £20 million.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that he slapped a big price tag.
If West Brom can come up with the money, then sure. I mean, that's probably 5 times as much as he's worth at this very moment. So why not?
And I forget, like, how the championship is supposed to play out the rest of the season. Like, they're supposed to be doing it, right?
Yeah, they start again on Saturday.
Okay. Yeah. So, but like, once again, and I didn't want to be going back into this so soon, but like, because it feels like a lifetime ago that we were talking about GSBOUT and the revolt against the board and all of that. But it's not an encouraging way to come back to play to me when you're having these conversations. Meanwhile, you're also talking about extending Zabaleta for the rest of this season. And it's just like, you had Moyes come back and talk about doing this youth movement, doing this Red Bull type model, and you're already hearing a rebuke of that from management. So, like, what's the confidence from a fan standpoint?
Well, you just hit on like 5 different things at once. So I wanted to talk about Ngakia. I kind of wanted to get Tom's view on good old Jeremy Ngakia. If we're even saying his name close to being right.
I have no idea how you pronounce it.
My thing is, I follow a lot of like West Ham fans on Instagram and on Facebook and all the other social medias that all of you guys do. And it seems to me like diehard West Ham guys are like, well, fuck that guy. You know what I mean? Like, he's just like, if he doesn't want to play for our team, then get him the hell out. Even though when he was playing those couple of games, he had like these flashes of brilliance. Like, oh my God, this guy's going to be awesome. You know what I mean? Like over there, like, what's the general feeling? Like, we can hem and haw all we want, but we're not there. So
I'm pretty sure everyone I know is like a 50-50 split. Like I'm undecided on it because I've had that opinion as well. Like, if you don't want to play for the club, then don't play for the club. Simple as. Like, you know, you're, what is he, 17, 18 years old? If he's out, I think it's four games, done, I'd say, well in all 4, like, no mistakes, no issues. You're not in a position to be bending the club under a barrel. On the flip side of that, he has looked good. If you're going to be paying Zabaleta 30 grand, 20 grand a week for another year, why not give that money to Ngakia?
But more than that, just banking on Fredericks being the everyday starter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know what I mean? One, I don't really rate Fredericks at all. I don't rate any of our fullbacks in the club. Like Zaba, Fredericks, Creswell, or Masaraku. Like, I think all 4 could do with replacing as soon as possible. So yeah, why not bank on your youth? Like say, like Moyes was adamant he won't stick with youth, but then I think what's the latest offer that they've offered him? Like 12 grand a week.
I didn't even get to see it.
I didn't hear about the offer.
Yeah, so I get that. Like that seems. I mean, obviously to us, like it's just unthinkable. But I get like why, as a youngster, you would try and hold out for more. And I'd love to know what he's then being offered, or like what other he thinks he'll get at other clubs. But then, I certainly think he'd get more game time at us than like other clubs. Because, like I say, I think Fredericks isn't up to the scratch, and Zabaletta's, well, God knows how many more minutes you'll get out of him. It's a shame. I think it'd be a real shame to let him go. I get that a lot of people are comparing him to Reece Oxford. Like when Reece Oxford had this one wonder game against Arsenal, then signed a 20 grand a week contract, and I think he's playing in like the German second division now.
Right.
So I get that there's a comparison there, but I mean, it's risk and reward, isn't it? And for me, the risk is really worth it. Like, I
don't know if he runs his own social media or not, but he made some post on his Instagram, Ngaki, and I started following him like the second game he started playing, and then I was like all hot about it one day, and I said something like, "Dude, I know you're going to look back on this time and have major regret. You should just quit fucking around and stick with the club, But and he liked it. You know what I mean? He had 1,000 comments. He likes that one, but he didn't say anything back to it. Yeah. And I'm like, then all of a sudden I want to read it. Like, is he being a dick? Like, what is he even doing that himself? Is it his? Oh no, I also said good luck with that agent of yours. So,
yeah, there's a lot of talk that the agents like digging his ear in there. Like, there's such a problem with agents of young kids. It's such a nightmare. Like,
it was the same thing with Keena. What was it? Keena, right?
It's
the same exact thing. I think, my personal opinion, I think what they're doing with him after the whole Reece Oxford thing, I think we went through a similar kind of situation with Declan Rice, where he wasn't feeling like he was being paid well enough. I think after the whole Reece Oxford thing, I think the board are basically trying to send a message to the youngsters, like, you can come in and have 1 or 2 games. That doesn't mean you're going to then get a massive pay raise.
Right.
And I think that that this whole thing has now been blown out of proportion because of it.
Right.
I think the 12,000, I couldn't find the exact figure. I know that they were offering $5,000 or £5,000 rather a week. But I mean, let's be fair. I mean, yes, he's in a contract here, but he has only played a handful of games. So I don't know if it's exactly fair.
Definitely not enough to prove consistency yet, for sure. Right.
So, I mean, it's one of those things where you need to have kind of a step up. You can't just have like, one really good game like Oxford did, and then you're suddenly making it big. So I think that's what it's kind of, they're setting a precedent. They're trying to set a precedent with this. But
I think the other thing they've got as well is that is Ben Johnson, the other young fullback we've got.
And they rate him higher.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that certainly seems to be the word that's coming from people in the know, is that Ben Johnson's higher in the pecking order than Jeremy and Ngaki. But then again, I'm already worried about Ben Johnson, where he's had like 2 injuries this season, and it's
right. Like he's like lucky to have this other lease on life. With the rest of the season.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. So if it was me, I'd want him to stay.
I do too, but it's one of those things. Where do you draw the line in the sand? Are you willing to pay him this massive amount and then risk? In Ben Johnson's contract year, him wanting
exactly. I mean, the way I look at it, I mean, especially you've got Carlos Sanchez definitely leaving at the end of the season.
Thank God.
Think that, like, they talk about him being on like 60 grand a week, like
it's instances like that.
I mean,
that hurt too.
If you were Jeremy and Ngaki and you look at that squad and you look at some of the players in that squad and the wage they're on, you would definitely think like, perhaps like I could get 15, 20 out of this group. I think that says a lot more about our contracts.
It just seems like they're always carrying some kind of dead weight like that. Somebody like I loved Andy Carroll, but then look at how much money he was making for like riding the bench, because I mean the cat could not keep himself from getting hurt. Like is Wilshire going to play? I realize he doesn't make the mountains of money as some other people, and he came over on a fee, but still. Yeah. Has anybody seen Wilshire in any kind of like action leading up to this weekend at all?
He played in one of the friendlies.
He did play in the friendlies?
He played in one of them, definitely.
And didn't get hurt?
I didn't get hurt by
Ngaki scored against Crystal Palace.
He scored?
Yeah, Ngaki scored against Crystal Palace.
Oh, I knew Ngaki scored.
Yeah,
I was talking about
that.
Sorry. But I just looked up on Twitter, trying to see if any other updates about Ngaki have come out, and this tweet actually sums it up this whole thing up perfectly, in my opinion. Declan Rice played on £3K pounds weekly wage for over a year and a half, proved his worth, got a contract extension with a big pay rise. Ngakia has been offered a $3,000 a week wage after 4 games and rejected because apparently he's worth more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's so much baggage, between all these bad contracts, handover. I mean, yeah, so much good money after bad with bad contracts, but also like probably some psychological factor among these fans of like, you have this academy of football written on the pitch and you want to see people that come out of the academy do well and become Premier League products. And they've been, frankly hard to come by over the last 15 years. So like, you're just like wanting anything to come out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's switch gears for like half a second because I know we're already up on 40 minutes and I don't want to go too long because Tom's got to go to bed. So what's going on with the rumors that I've heard about Hammers United and GSBOUT kind of easing back like for the rest of the season or in the current situation or for the foreseeable future?
I haven't heard anything about them easing off at all. I guess the one thing, it's not impossible to put pressure on the board when you can't be at the games.
Sure.
So like, momentum just gets killed instantly. I'm fairly certain the moment people we're allowed back at games, that movement will start up again very quickly and very strongly.
Thinking of that real quick, I want to jump in. I actually saw this through Claret and Hugh. Actually, apparently there's their whole. I don't know how authentic it is, but apparently there are talks right now that could allow fans back in the stands as early as this restart at some point.
Huh.
They say that they're holding out hope for, at the absolute latest, fans for the FA Cup final, August 4th.
So another month.
Yeah. But I mean, that there is hope that fans might be able to even return to to the stands this season.
Well, if the graph that I saw in the New York Times is correct for, places like the UK and Italy and all the other places that were so hard hit by the virus, you know what I mean? It looks like they're down to like a handful of deaths per day. It's terrible to even think about it that way. You know what I mean? Because I know people who have been affected. I could be affected. You know what I mean? So it's awful. But it's just, I guess if you get to a point where you're having only like in the entire country, even though it's a much smaller country, and even though we're, I guess, testing more than other people, whatever sense that argument makes, it just, I don't know. And like, it feels to me, this is just personally, like I'm not going to feel like totally good about going back to a sporting event like that until there's a vaccine, until I can like take a shot and go ahead, brother, breathe right on me. Do it. Because that's what they do. People are drinking. People are standing shoulder to shoulder. Yeah. You know what I mean? We've been.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was thinking stateside here. Columbus Crew saying, maybe we could have games at the stadium like later in the fall. But it's like, in my mind, like at the rate things are going.
Yeah. Not with the numbers we're showing right now. No way.
That opening day match, March 1st, that's going to be the only soccer match I attend this year.
That's it.
Yeah.
My drums are stuck over there right now. I can't even go get them. I'm not kidding. Tom, did you know I make all the drums for our games over here?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I create the drums. So over there in the corner, underneath that giant pile of coats, is like 3 or 4 more Columbus Crew drums.
Nice.
But like all the big bass drums and stuff that we play in our Columbus Crew Nordeck, which is our supporter section, I build the drums and I of direct the drummers. So right now they're all stuck at over at Mapfire Stadium at the. Of course, this time next year we'll be firing up a brand new stadium downtown Columbus. So look, man, when you reschedule your trip for the state,
come by Columbus.
You got to come by Columbus, man. We're gonna have a brand new spanky stadium. You and your lady can stay right here at the house if you want. Free place. I'll show you all over the town. You got to. I know you're.
Mate, it sounds good to me, mate. It sounds good to me.
It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. Okay, what else? Oh, one thing real quick before I forget it. I'm sure everybody else watches Wayne's show or listens to Wayne's show. West Ham's Why We Drink. And we just want to wish Adam a speedy recovery. Adam is like super duper sick. I don't really know the details, but
I believe it was a form of a heart attack that he was playing tennis.
And he's like a young guy. He's a young guy. Yeah. He's Wayne's co-host. So
they had put him into a medically induced coma, but I believe he is out of that now and responsive.
Okay,
I could be wrong, so don't take me at my word. I believe I remember seeing that a few days ago. I think there's a GoFundMe out there right now as well, trying to raise some money to help with his medical expenses.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw Wayne had asked me, Tom, you don't know who Wayne is. So Wayne
I know of the podcast.
Oh, do you? Okay.
I don't know the guy, but I know the podcast.
So his co-host on his West Ham is Why We Drink podcast, Adam, fell ill. And I started getting words on 5 different social medias. And he'd asked me to be on for some trivia contest. And I checked Twitter once a millennia. I'm just not a Twitter guy, you know what I mean? And so he'd sent me a message on Twitter and I said, sure, I'll be on it. And then I'm like, what do I do? And then he had to hit me back, even though I'd already heard that Adam was sick. He's like, we had to put everything on hold. So I don't even think that they're doing the show right now. I mean, I could understand that. If I didn't have Marc, I wouldn't want to do my show. Marc.
You've managed with guest hosts before.
Well, I do have Flat Jerry.
Oh.
He's not very talkative today, but in any case. All right, so let's get to a couple of predictions real quick. First, let's talk about score predictions for this Saturday. Marc, you want to go first because you're in my upper right?
Yeah. A lot of unknowns, and I even have some optimism, even, which is bizarre. Yeah, considering the recent run of form back in February, March. But I still can't get over the fact that Wolves have had our number since they came back, and right. It's still going to be that feeling of West Ham's going to West Ham it. So I'm feeling like we're going to get off on the wrong foot and going to be down 2-0 to Wolves.
What? Oh, that is not what I expected to hear from you. All right, Chris, what do you think?
I'm going opposite here. I'm actually going bold. I'm going to go. I think that with Wolves I know that the friendlies don't mean too much, but it does increase some confidence for me, at least. I don't know if it does for the players or not. But I mean, we did beat Crystal Palace 2-1, which they're sitting 11th in the table. So it gives me some confidence. Plus, I just think we're due one. I'm going to go 2-1 victory.
Hey, we like that. Yes. Mr. Smalley, what do you think for this Saturday?
I'm going to split and I'm going to say a draw. I'll go 1-1. Haller scored in both of the friendlies, and I'll go for Haller to get our goal again.
That is true. I didn't think about that.
All right. I like that too. I would take a draw. I think we need the 3, though, be honest with you.
Absolutely.
Love a draw.
I'm going to go big. I'm going to go big because, I like to go big. So I'm going to go West Ham 3-0 on this one.
Ooh, come to the goal difference now.
If that's the case, I will buy you a drink. If we win 3-0, I will buy you a drink.
Are you going to be down there this Saturday, Chris?
I was going to mention that to you. I have orientation with that new job tomorrow. Okay. I will let you know about it, but if I'm not working at that time, I will be there. And then I'm also going to plug something real quick. Regardless if I'm there or not, I don't know what time it's going to be. I got to talk with Tim about it. But the post-match live streams with me and Irish Tommy are returning on Saturday.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
So I'm very excited for that. So I'll plug that. I'm sure whenever the details are confirmed, I'm sure it'll be.
Have you continued doing Fortune's Always Hiding during this hiatus?
No, we have not actually.
Okay. I mean, we didn't. It just kind of grinded to a halt.
Yeah, not much to talk about.
We tried to do we did one podcast. Zach and I, John wasn't able to join. And it was right as all this kind of kept coming out, and the podcast ended up turning into coronavirus podcast. So,
right.
I
Well,
mean,
that's kind of like half of what we did today.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was
Unavoidable.
nothing to talk about. I mean, as the whole thing went on, I mean, we definitely could have, with all the transfer rumors already coming out, with all the rumors of, is there going to be play? Is there not? What are we going to do? But I mean, it wouldn't have been enough, and it wouldn't have been sustainable. So we kind of put it on hiatus.
Okay.
And we haven't even talked about bringing it back yet. I'm sure we will this week, though.
Right. I figured it was coming back. I didn't think that you'd done it because I was looking for a new one and I hadn't seen one. So
no, it's been since March.
All right. So let me put this to the crew as well. What do you guys think about our chances of staying up? Let's start with Tom this time.
So I can't remember what I said last time I was on the podcast. Whether I thought we'd stay up on the last game of the season.
Yep.
I don't think my opinions change. I think it will still go down to the last game of the season. What we got? Wolves Saturday, Tottenham Tuesday.
Right.
Oh boy.
I will always back us to beat Spurs at their place. Always. So I think if we can take 4 points from these first two games, I think we'll be absolutely fine.
Okay.
Yeah. If not, if we take no points from those first two games, then I think it's
big trouble.
Bye. Yeah.
Big trouble in Little London.
Yeah.
What do you think, Chris? Stay up?
So I am going to say yes. I'm fairly confident, and the reason being that I think Norwich is all but down. And so at that point, you only have to be better than two clubs. And I mean, on paper, we definitely are. Yes, our schedule doesn't really necessarily help us. Even if it goes to the last match of the season against Villa, I think that we are better than two of the teams that were battling relegation. And I think we will pull it out on the end. It sucks that given the optimism coming into the season, but I mean, yeah, there's just no way that we could. I shouldn't say there's no way because it is West Ham, but realistically, if everything was on paper, there's no reason for us to be going down.
Yeah, there's no reason.
I have a bit of a theory that like playing behind closed doors actually might do the team a big favor. Like Kev, you've been down in that corner where we stand, and like it's just like a pool of negativity. Everyone's constantly on the players' back demanding more. I'm one of those. Like, I will never be satisfied by a West Ham performance. There is always something that could be better. So I don't know whether
are they going to have the play fans on the screen, on the big screens?
I think they're doing like a mirage of some sort, or like some sort of.
Yeah, I saw it say that there's going to be like a mosaic of photos.
Yeah,
I thought it was going to be live, like kids on Zoom or something, like watching the game, like being filtered in.
You have to be careful with that for the sole reason that if you add audio to it, you don't know what someone's going to say.
Sure.
That's what Fake Carlton was tweeting about. Was like, how can this be realistic if I can't shout borderline ethnic slurs to Felipe?
Exactly.
yeah. If I can't call someone a non, then what's the point?
Not to mention all with how kind of stingy the board are, or how self-conscious they are, how worried they would be of people saying GSBOUT and stuff like that.
Right.
So I don't think that they would ever do it live like that.
Right. I still I mean, you can easily mute people's audio on Zoom. That's what I thought was going to happen. Like even in the pictures that I saw today, when they show some close-up shots from the field and stuff, and you could see the screens behind them at City with like fans on there. Yeah. I thought that was live. I guess it's not. I guess it's just like some kind of like thrown together imagery.
Well, honestly, for me, if I'm a player and there's just photos or even like live video with or without audio, I'm more creeped out by that than anything.
Was it in Korea where they had like blow-up dolls?
Yeah, it was the Korean baseball game, and they had to pay thousands of dollars in fines.
Inevitably there'd be some female fan flashing herself on the field, and actually taking people's attention because, on the giant screen, her boobs are like this or
Mate,
something.
at West Ham, I'd have more concern about the amount of men flashing like, on the big screen. Like, can you imagine how flattering that big screen would look?
Anything but a guy on the ball. What do you think, Mark? Think we're staying up?
Some things never change, and I just don't want to do the math. So, I'm sticking to my guns from when we started calling these predictions back in, was it January? 17th. 17th, skin of our teeth.
Not good.
It's not the outcome that anybody wanted.
Sure.
But it's the one we deserve.
What's funny, though, is that, we're still in a situation of where, yes, we are, like, on borderline bottom 3. But at the same time, we're not too far behind some of the teams, like, closer to mid-table. If we
that's
are
the wishful thinking we were saying when Pellegrini was still here.
If we are correct in our theory of we might perform better without the fans there, who knows where we could finish this year?
Right.
It
could be anybody's guess. So, Mark, with the 17 prediction, we'll go with some small applause for that. Thanks, Mark. Up, but not good. Okay. I think we're staying up. I think I said that the last 5 times we did a show that I think we're actually going to end up in 11. Because you know what? That's where West Ham ends up, at 11.
To finish 11th, we've got a great 8 weeks coming up.
Sure. And I am the eternal optimist. All right, I got one more thing I want to ask you guys about. So I'm guilty of during this downtime, I just kind of went dark on reading about West Ham or seeing what was going on. It was more like just huddled with a blanket in my house, like, please don't let me get sick kind of thing. But one of the things I saw just the other day was a potential hint to a kit leak. And it was because Umbro put out Bournemouth's new kit that has this weird. Okay, so even though they got the black and red stripes going through, was it Bournemouth's kit?
It was,
yeah.
And it had this weird spray paint pattern, like reverse spray paint thing. Oh man, I hope that's not our kit. You know what I mean? I always think because so Umbro also makes Everton's kit, and I always think that our kits are actually a little bit closer to what the Everton kits, with different colors. But I just hope that Umbro doesn't end up rubber stamping it like the Adidas kits here. You know what I mean? Like in the MLS, we have one of the ugliest home kits I have ever seen ever on any. And I have so many freaking soccer jerseys upstairs. I do. If somebody gave me one for free with a big 3 Adidas stripes on the shoulder, like these giant, I don't know, you're out of Logan's Run kind of sci-fi stripes on your shoulder. It was awful. It's terrible. And,
I can't believe they tried auctioning those off for charity. Like, how much money would that have raised? Yeah,
I don't know. I just want to run away from that screaming. I've just every time this time of year. So the new West Ham kit usually comes out in mid-June, it's right after the season. And I remember the first time that my buddy Justin sent me the one with the imposed V on it. The last year Arnautovic played with us, and the beginning of that part with the darker colored V on top. And I thought that looked awful. But then when I saw it in person, I was like, wow, that's pretty sweet. So I'm just really, really hoping not for the spray paint thing. What do you guys think about that? Did you guys see that thing?
I just looked at it. Yeah, it's not great.
It's not my favorite, but it's not terrible.
It could go really, really badly.
Yeah,
Tom, have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen the Bournemouth kits. I just can't see that working with us. I think they've hinted at some sort of anniversary kit for next season.
I think you're right.
I can't remember what the anniversary is off the top of my head.
125. Maybe?
Yeah. So I'd love to see one of those really old school retro designs.
Yeah.
I love that old school stuff. I love the kits this year. I thought they were fantastic.
These ones are great. You
I loved this one from last year too.
Yeah, I like that one a lot too. But a big complaint about that one is that it didn't have enough blue on it. Like a lot of like diehard fans were like, "Where's the blue?" And I'm like, "Right on the sleeve, dude."
Yeah. This is my go. Like whenever I wear one out, like if I ever wear one and they're all clean, this is the one I go to just because it does have. Like personally, I like just like the accents of the blue,
and it's got the real faint pinstripes in it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. See, I like that. I think
it's like the material. It's built into the material. It's not even the coloring.
Of course, my favorite kit in probably since I became a West Ham fan was the Adidas kits with the collar. You know what I mean?
I have that one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have that one.
That's a great one. Yeah.
Here we are, one of the most important West Ham podcasts, and we're focusing on fashion. I like it. Because that's what the fans really care about.
That's why we tucked it in at the end there.
Yeah. Well, I had to cram it all in because now we're like past an hour. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for taking time out. Mark, I miss you so much. Chris, I hope I see you this weekend.
Yep, I will. Tom, I will let you know.
Stay in touch with you, brother.
Yeah, man, I'll speak to you Saturday, I'm sure.
Tom, by the way, thank you so much for sending that snood over.
No,
thank you. I still never got the other package with the sticker. So I don't know what happened in the post, but I do have my snood, and just in time for it to be 80 plus degrees here in Columbus. So perfect timing. I think I'm probably going to wear it on Saturday. Wait till you guys see my snood. You guys are going to be so jealous. All right, guys, I'm going to let everybody go. Thank you, everybody. And come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.
Come on. All right, buddies.